Yo, what's going on, guys? Ultra What If here, and we are back at it with actually part 2 of What If Issei was in Raid Zero. I was actually surprised at how many likes I got for actually the first Raid Zero, and now I'm actually back at it with actually part 2 here. So I hope you guys actually enjoy, and with that out of the way, let's hop right into this What If. Issei would have actually opened his eyes, only to see a white ceiling. Issei's body felt sore all around here, as actually he remembered him being slashed by Elsa, the Bower Hunter. Issei actually looked down to where his stomach was and saw actually the wound that Elsa actually dealt to him was actually gone. Issei actually got up and he tries to actually talk to Drake, asking what really happened. Drake explained the whole thing to Issei, how, he was actually carried by actually, like Emilia, and how actually she brought actually him here to actually this castle, mansion, whatever, and she kind of like performed healing actually on him. Issei basically actually sighed in relief, knowing right there that he didn't die actually like the first time here, and he actually wanted to ask Dreg what was actually that, and ask, hey Dreg, do you know what really caused our death to actually go back in time or something like that? Somewhat of that return by death, which Issei would have actually just named just randomly on the spot. What Dreg would say like he doesn't know, but he had a feeling that it was caused by actually a powerful woman, even way more powerful than him. Of course, right there, like, what Drake can remember is that actually a shuddering hand will be covering Issei's soul and also body, and also right there Drake itself here, and practically ripping them from the main timeline into actually, like from just back in time. Which Issei kind of found really strange, but of course he couldn't really dwell on it. Issei would have actually stayed in bed for about like a few minutes before getting tired and going out to explore what Subaru would have done. Opening doors right there, just to find somebody. Issei would have actually found actually somebody here after opening one door, which was Beatrice's forbidden library. This is where actually Issei kind of pointed out like, heck, who the heck are you? And Beatrice would have just looked at Issei and just actually raised an eyebrow and say like, oh, it seems like we have actually like another rat here. Which Issei would have actually just sighed and like, geez, even people from this world actually treat me like trash. Anyways, my name is Issei Hyodo. It's nice to meet you. Which Beatrice would say like, I have no actual reason to give you my name here, and you are stepping in the forbidden library. Issei would have looked around, and of course it was a library, but like, what was so forbidden about it? Issei would have picked up a book and he couldn't even read the language, so Issei said like, I have no reason or like, for books or reading or knowledge or power for anything here. He has no interest in that, which kind of surprised Beatrice, because actually like, Issei was literally in the great forbidden library where actually the Witch of Envy right there like was kept all her knowledge here, like she was a powerful witch, and surprisingly Issei had no interest in any of it here. Beatrice would actually say like, you are a strange one, which Issei would say like, yes I am, I got actually loads of actually compliments because of that here, and also I will become Harem King. This is where Beatrice would actually have enough and say like, okay, you know what, I kind of have enough of you right now. This is where she will blast Issei away and outside the room, and also hitting the wall, making him go unconscious yet again. This time when he woke up, Issei was not alone, as he saw two beautiful maids that was actually standing right there next to him. Of course, Issei basically shot up, seeing actually one blue hair and one pink hair, and he was thinking that, could this be a dream? Two beautiful like maids are here to attend me. This way steam would have been coming out from Issei's nose, as just actually thoughts of actually them together. And yeah, I'm not gonna go into the whole details, just Issei has a perverted mind. As Rem and Ram would have actually stepped away, just seeing Issei's face, as they basically kind of were afraid of him, saying that like, Rem, this actually guy, his gaze is kind of beastly, like, Ram, I actually agree, this actually person, he's a beast. This is where Issei would have actually like broken out from his actually perverted thoughts, and hearing what actually they said, this is where he sucked his head down in shame. As of course right there he said like, of course, they still refer to me even as a beast here. Oh great. This is where Emilia would have actually walked into the room and asking if everything was actually okay. Issei would have actually just been geeking out, like what Subaru would have actually done, saying that like, oh gosh, Emilia is so cute here. And of course, actually, Emilia asked actually if Issei was actually alright, and practically Issei said that he was fine here, and also he actually asked about what happened to the insignia that they were trying to get, which Emilia said that like she got it here, and also she couldn't actually, you know, like thank Issei enough right there for actually him trying to help her buy her insignia and return it back to actually her. She really appreciated, and she's actually in Issei's debt. This is where actually a few hours will pass to where Issei will be actually outside in the garden. I wouldn't really say Issei will be doing some actually exercise here or cardio, anything like this. It doesn't seem like Issei to do something like that, but I would say that Issei would be stretching here, trying to get his body just to move so it doesn't become stiff. This is where Emilia actually asks and who really Issei really was, and you know, where did he come from, which Issei, he tries to actually explain it to Emilia that he's from actually a place called Japan, but Emilia hasn't even heard of a place called Japan before, or Kuyu Town or anything like that here. This is where Puck, you know, would have actually appeared, and you know, like he would have been really interested in Issei. You know, like he can tell that like, yeah, Issei is a pervert just by reading him, but also he's not like a bad guy. He's not like most perverts here. He's pretty much actually honest and pretty much wholesome, but also Puck can tell that Issei has something powerful within him, which actually he actually straight up asks, and Issei said like, oh, you're talking about Drag here. Yeah, he's actually like my partner. He's a sacred gear, which Puck has no idea what a sacred gear really is. And what he actually did actually gain was actually that Dreg is a dragon that was sealed within this actually like sacred gear, which actually grants Issei the ability to use Dreg's power, which means actually Issei can boost his power every 10 seconds, which Puck and Emilia was surprised that you can boost your power every 10 seconds. Like, that seems really overpowered, which, you know, I don't actually blame actually them, because it is overpowered. Where actually, as they were actually talking, this is where Rem would have actually came and informed Emilia and Issei that the master has returned. Issei asked Emilia who was the master here, as Emilia would actually explain to Issei that Roswell was actually like the owner of actually this mansion here. So with this, the two of them would have actually entered, of course, into the dining hall and waited for this Roswell actually guy. When actually an unknown person would have actually came, as he had actually makeup all over his face. Issei would have actually said like, please don't tell me that this clown is actually Roswell, which everybody in the room paled, and Roswell would actually just be laughing, saying like, wow, in all my years, I never actually had anyone indirectly called me a clown. I like this guy. As actually the group would be sitting down eating dinner, Roswell would be actually like thanking Issei for helping actually Emilia find actually her insignia, that it was actually pretty much actually like a good thing that he was there, and it's really important to Emilia that actually and that she actually had got it back. And Issei said like, yeah, it was actually no problem, and he actually asks, what is this actually insignia thing? Is this some kind of like family heirloom, something super valuable? Which Roswell said like, you can say something like that, but not really. This insignia actually signifies actually like Emilia's actually like candidate to actually the throne of Lagunica. I think that's what it's actually called. This is where actually Issei was actually shocked hearing that Emilia is going to become a queen, potentially like a queen here. And of course right there, Issei looked at her and said like, wait, you lost something that actually gave you, like, was giving you access to become actually a next candidate of actually the kingdom? Which actually Emilia would say like, I didn't lose it, it was stolen here. Which actually Issei said like, that's still the same thing as losing it. You see, if I actually had right there something like that that gave me access to become Harem King, I would guard that thing with my life. This is where Roswell would actually kind of like chuckle, seeing that actually Issei is kind of really funny here. Of course, he actually offered Issei, like, since actually he helped Emilia, he would grant him actually one wish here, within his powers. Issei basically said like, really, one wish? Oh man, what would I wish for? As actually Issei was just thinking that like, I can ask to become actually, you know, just to have a harem. Finally, in this world, I will finally actually have a harem. This is where Dreg would intervene, talking in Issei's mind, saying like, partner, before you ask for anything stupid here, just know we're in this world with no way returning back home here. Practically, we don't know the language or anything about this world. Might as well ask athlete to stay here and practically learn everything that we have in this world, and potentially you going out in the world knowing nothing and then after that getting killed again. This is where actually Issei, brain would have actually started working properly, saying like, yeah, Drake got a point. This is where he would actually ask actually Roswell, like, is it potentially I can stay here and like, help you guys around, like, since you guys actually helped me too. Which Roswell would have said like, yes, of course, right there. We can offer you like a job here. Which this is where actually Rem and Ram after dinner would have actually brought Issei to actually like the dressing room of trying to find him actually a size. And I'm gonna be 100% honest, I believe Issei would have been a woman's size clothing, like Subaru here. Like, just seeing how Issei looks, his body structure, anything, no diddy. Yeah, I would believe Issei would be like a woman's size clothing too here. So of course right there, Ram and Ram would have actually said like, sister, yeah, there's actually nothing that actually fits this perverted beast here. Only actually woman's size clothing would actually fit him. Sister, you're truly actually right. This guy has actually no muscle and no back to him. He's pretty much actually more wimpy than even us. This is where Issei would have said like, hey, I'm not wimpy here. This is where Rem and Ram would have actually showed Issei around the whole mansion here. And right there, like, the station that he would be doing, of course, the bathroom, everything. And the jobs that he'll be doing, like cutting the hedges, cleaning the bathroom, making dinner, of course, etc. here. This is where actually Issei would have actually started actually working in the mansion. Of course, cleaning up, and of course the last thing of course was actually just going out and getting actually like groceries to make dinner. This is where Issei and Ren would have actually entered the village, as this is where Issei would have been jumped by the kids here, and of course right there, like, they would have been already playing with Issei, and Issei, I'm saying this, he would have still gotten bitten by the demon dog here. And I don't even think there's even a counter to it here, because actually, like, let's be for real, we already know, like, this is season 3 Issei, like, just at the start of season 3, we already know that Issei is kind of actually powerful, but not really powerful. He knows how to fight, but like not well. He just learned. He's just a beginner now. He's just a beginner. He's now actually he's now level 1 of actually like learning how to fight. So of course right there, like Issei and Rem would have actually returned back actually to the mansion, and the three of them, Issei, Rem, and Ram, would have actually been preparing dinner. And of course actually Ren would have been teaching Issei how to cut tomatoes or potatoes with a knife, which Issei is terrible at, but of course Issei is actually training from actually like, the 10 days would have actually kicked in and like, yo, I've done this before. Now you guys will realize how actually useful I am. Witness the power of the red dragon. Issei grabbed the potato in his actually hand, and this is where he says, burst. This is where actually the potato would have actually peeled. Of course, it would have peeled by itself, and Rem and Ram would have been surprised on how Issei was able to do that, and asked, how did he do that? Was this some kind of magic or like wind magic that he did? And Issei said like, no, I don't think so. Maybe he didn't use magic, but like he just ripped it at the apart, like he was ripping away like women's clothing, which actually came out so wrong. And Rem and Ram would have actually said like, I confirmed it. He is a pervert and a beast. This is where actually Issei sighed, and you know what, he just brushed it aside. This is where Issei started actually, like, peeling the potatoes with just his powers. And this is where actually he kind of overdid it, as Rem told him to stop, as this is where Issei realized that, yeah, he made a whole mess in the kitchen, like he overdid it again. As actually Rem and Ram told actually Issei like, thanks to you here that we actually wasted so many good food, you will go without dinner tonight. This is where Issei would say like, yo, please, like, a guy gotta eat, but actually Ram was not having it here. They basically told Issei that actually he'd be responsible for cleaning this whole kitchen, of course, and he will have no dinner. By the end of the day, Issei would have actually been in his room, as he would have been actually learning the language in this world here, which Issei actually is not really much of a great actually like learner here. We already know that Issei is terrible when it comes to actually like, like learning something. So this is where actually the door would have actually, somebody would have been knocking on Issei's door, which would have been actually Rem, bringing Issei right there a plate of mashed potato, steak, and gravy, whatever you want to call it here. That she laid it down on Issei's desk and asking if he was actually studying well. Issei said like, yes, he was, nah, he's lying. He doesn't know anything, and of course he needs help. This is where Ram would have actually spent a few actually, you know, like, hours helping actually Issei to actually, like, you know, understand the language, which Issei would have been getting slightly distracted, and, you know, Rem would have actually still been annoyed by Issei here, and also flicking him and hitting him on the head, telling him to pay attention. And of course, by the end of the day, when actually Issei kind of like called it actually a day, going to bed, he was actually excited for actually the next day. Issei actually opened his eyes, and once he opened his eyes, he realized that he wasn't in his room. He was in the same room that actually he woke up actually the first actually day that he was here, and in the same outfit. This wasn't the same outfit right there that he was wearing. This is where actually like the two maids would have actually asked if Issei was actually okay, Rem and Ram. And Issei asks, hey guys, did you potentially move me from actually my bed here? And why did you change my outfit? Which Ram and Ram would have been so confused, saying like, what are you talking about here? He's so strange, sister. I agree, sister. He's really strange. This is where Emilia would have walked into the room exactly the same time here. Everything just started started actually playing out like the same as actually like just yesterday, possibly. Like, what was going on? They were asking the same questions and everything, and Issei just realized somehow he did it again. He turned back time, or returned by death. This is where Dreg would have informed Issei that, like, partner, how can I tell you this, but like, yeah, you kind of died. This is where Issei would have been shocked, saying like, how the heck did I die? Don't tell me I died in my sleep. Which Dreg confirmed, saying that yes, you kind of did die in your sleep. And of course, he doesn't even know how. I think it was by poison. And he says like, wait, poison? How the heck did I die by poison here? I mean, wouldn't you not be able to detect actually if I got poisoned or not? When Dreg would say like, heck, he's a sacred gear. He doesn't actually physically actually live in Issei's body exactly here. Like, he's practically sealed in the sacred gear, but the sacred gear is sealed in Issei's body. Yeah, he can't even tell if Issei got poisoned or not. He can tell if Issei's body is acting up here, but like, he can't really tell if Issei is poisoned or not. This is where Issei tries to find everything, like, who really did poison him, of course, and this is where Issei would have actually kind of been really iffy about this whole day. Like, possibly someone in the castle was trying to kill him. Of course, they did kill him and they did succeed, but he was able to actually die and return back to life. And of course, restart this whole day. And this is where Issei started to get a little bit suspicious about the people right there in this actually whole actually like house. This is where Issei would have actually repeated the whole day, like the same time here. What Subaru would have done, going and actually asking Roswell for a job here to stay, and then pretty much actually like carrying on actually for the rest of the day here. This time he actually took proper caution when actually cutting the potatoes and not overdoing it here. Basically keeping an eye on everyone, and also Ram and Ram, if potentially, you know, like they did snook and poison to the into the food, which Issei believed it wasn't actually them. It can't be them. Issei spent actually the whole entire day with the two of them here. There's no way that the two of them actually would poison actually him. I mean, like, there was no malice or hatred or anything between them, or besides actually them calling Issei a pervert here, which wasn't actually a lie. Overall, he just thought that Ram and Ram was actually just, you know, like they were getting close together. Like, he saw them as actually potentially good friends. And you know, the thought of them poisoning him, yeah, he just brushed that out of his mind, because there's no way. It's gotta be someone else from actually the castle, possibly Roswolf. Amelia was definitely out, because actually there's no way that she would poison him. What about actually that girl in the library? I mean, just looking at actually her, like, she wouldn't seem like the type of person just to kill him for no good reason. Unless right there he did something to offend her. But of course, poison seems a little bit extreme. This is where actually Issei would have actually went along with the whole day. And of course, when actually Issei was supposed to go to bed, yeah, he stayed awake. Just like Subaru, he would have actually stayed awake. And this time, the poison would have actually taken longer to kick in, right? Since actually, Issei is actually like a devil, dragon, and also human, full hybrids here. Yeah, the whole actually poison would have actually taken so much longer to even kick in from actually original what actually would really happen to Subaru here. So of course when actually it hits actually like midnight, this is where the poison starts kicking in, and Issei, he felt weak, but he didn't feel like, okay, his life was leaving his body. It just felt like that he couldn't barely even actually like move. But of course actually Issei started to move and basically tried to actually find actually some help here. Possibly Rothworth here or Ram or Ram. This is where Issei slowly started making his way towards actually the mansion here, trying to actually ask for help or pretty much trying to find actually anyone here. This is where Issei would not be vomiting what Subaru would have actually been going through, but of course he would have been feeling right there woozy all over his body, like feeling his body going numb. This is where actually he will take one step upwards here towards actually like the top, and this is where he felt like something was heading towards him, something metal, mechanic, and of course dragging across the ground. Issei turned around only to see a giant ball of spike send him flying here towards actually the other end of the room, and all the way flying downwards the stairs here. Of course, this way Issei tried to get back up to see who was attacking him. All Issei saw was actually just a giant ball of spike. When Issei actually tried to look up, it was already too late. The giant ball of spike hit Issei's dead head on, killing him instantly. Issei opened his eyes yet again to see that he was in the same room again, and this time Issei was kinda pissed. He died again. Now you guys are probably wondering right there, like, how come Issei can't just, fight back, like something like that? You need to understand that Issei is a good fighter, but like, in a weakened state, without actually any Althea or any of his actually original friends from actually his verse, yeah, Issei's kind of like gonna get cooked and overpowered by the people in ReZero. I mean, this is ReZero. I mean, and Issei in ReZero is practically helpless here. I mean, yeah, sure, he knows how to fight. He has actually the booster gear, yes. And of course, actually, Issei will receive actually massive power-ups later on in the episode. But of course, this is only right there, like, the start of actually season 3 Issei. He is not that great of a fighter. He doesn't have balance break or anything like that here. So it does make sense. But anyways, moving on here is where Issei would have been furious now. He would have actually just gotten up and basically he would have started yelling like, what the absolute fuck? Okay, I'm not gonna curse here, but you already know what actually Issei's gonna say. As of course, Ram and Ram would have been in the room. They would have been they would have actually backed away from Issei. Like, somehow, yeah, this guy was furious here. And Issei saw Ram and he was glaring at, one of them here. Practically, Issei doesn't know who attacked him, but all he can tell, he heard high heels. High heels for sure. And of course, right there, he doesn't even know if it's Ram, Emilia, or actually that Rothworth guy, or that girl from actually the library here. This is where Issei is not even a huge fan of dying, and of course, Issei basically doesn't even want to even leave his room now, of course. Now, remember, you know how Issei actually has PTSD because of actually, Reina? Yeah, I would believe Issei will also have actually something like PTSD of dying as well. I mean, it's in everyone. I mean, like, somebody who brushed death several times here, like, against actually, Reina, against actually Dunseek, of course, and of course, in the church trying to actually save Althea, of course, Issei is not really a big fan of dying here. He doesn't like to die here. So, of course, Issei will be a little bit scared to actually approach any of them, because he doesn't even know who is killing him. First it was the poison, and now right there was this unknown assassin. Yeah, Issei's staying in this room. Even if Emilia asks, like if he wants to leave, Issei says like he doesn't want to leave at all. He doesn't want to leave his room. He doesn't actually want to do anything. Issei stays in bed for the whole entire actually 3 days. And of course Emilia did try to check in, and also Rem and Ram, but Issei doesn't want to talk to any of them. Issei is formulating a plan that actually, of course, he's just gonna just leave. Potentially he could just leave here. The moment right there he gets better. Passing the 4 days here, and then after that just leaving. Because actually if Issei just stays in this bed here, and of course just rest up, he can just leave and then try to find actually like another place here. I mean, like, of course it's kind of stupid, but at the same time here, who wants to stay in a crazy house that actually you just keep on dying by an unknown poison and an unknown assassin? Yeah, Issei doesn't feel safe here. So after actually the 4 days would have been over, Issei would have been actually already, like ready just to leave here. He just felt like, okay, I'm just gonna leave. Issei didn't even get a proper sleep because he was up every single night watching anybody's movements here. Practically, Issei was just ready for anyone just to quote unquote actually just, I don't know, just attack him in his sleep, or pretty much actually just offer him actually just food. Issei refused to eat for the 4 days here. I don't know how this guy's even actually alive here, but of course Issei refused to eat. After the 4 days, Issei would have been ready just to leave, but Emilia would have actually asked Issei if, he can just come with actually her. There's something actually that actually happened. This is where actually Issei follows Emilia, because actually why not, he was already about to leave actually this place here, so why not actually follow her. This is where they will enter actually like Rem's room, and of course Issei heard crying, of course, as Ram would have been actually over Rem, crying as her sister was dead. She died in her sleep, and this shocked Issei, like, wait, this can't be. Rem is dead? How did she die? And Emilia explains that she died in her sleep. They don't know how, but possibly by, I don't know, poison. This is where Issei remembered that the first time he died was by poison itself, and the second time he died it was by poison and also by an unknown assassin here. So Issei's thinking that the first time he died it was definitely by poison. And of course, Issei doesn't even know who did it, and of course, the thought right there of actually Rem and Ram right there killing him crossed actually his, like, it just crossed his book. Rem and Ram is not the person who actually killed him here, right, by poison. Right, so Issei can cross that out. It has to be someone else here, because there's no way Rem or Ram would actually give themselves poison and then kill themselves here. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, this is where actually, like, Rem looks at Issei with hatred and asks, you know what actually happened here, don't you? Issei actually said like he doesn't know anything what actually happened here, and of course Rothwolf basically kind of like assumed, since actually, like, one of actually his staff was actually like killed, of course, and like there's no one else here but Issei here, he potentially actually is the biggest actually target, of course, and also suspect. This is where actually, like, Emilia would have actually chimed in saying that, like, Issei would have been in bed for this whole entire day, for at least 4 days here. He didn't even move, he didn't leave his room. But of course, they couldn't even know that here. He was practically in his room and nobody was properly keeping watch on him here. So, of course, there's no one else just to blame but Issei. And Issei just chimed in saying, like, he didn't do anything here. He didn't kill Rem. He would never kill Rem here. Practically, he would never actually harm actually anyone actually in this mansion. Of course, they treated his injuries, so why would he have to kill actually them here? But they don't even know. And plus, Issei is actually the biggest suspect, but they don't have any proof. But of course, you know how ReZero is here. They basically just assume and they just roll with that. Rem would have been so furious as she shot a magic wind attack towards Issei, only grazing his cheek, and asked Issei and also ordered him, if he knows who's behind this, he better explain right now. Which Issei says like, I'm sorry, but I don't know. This is where she would have leaped towards Issei and trying to kill him. This is where Issei would have dodged after her attack and run out of the room. This is where Rem shouted, I will kill you. Like, and this is where Issei was so confused here. He spent the 4 days in his room, doing nothing, but just plodding right there, to see if anyone did try to kill him at night or even try to offer him anything at night just to eat. Of course, Issei refused all of it, but of course, guess what? Somehow, he's being accused for killing Rem for poison, which also right there brings Issei to a thought that, tongue twist, potentially Rem got poisoned by someone not from the castle or from the mansion, but something from outside. Like, the thought right there just really did actually cross Issei's mind. Like, if it's not from the mansion, somebody didn't poison actually them from the mansion. It definitely had to come from the outside. As Issei was running, he made his way towards actually a cliff. Of course, there was spikes actually underneath, like the stone spikes. This is where actually Issei saw a metal attack coming towards him. Issei, being actually this reflective, guy ready for battle, reflects actually the attack, of course, by actually summoning his boots again and deflecting the metal ball. And this is where Issei saw the metal ball, like, wait, please don't tell me. No, it can't be you. Please, it can't. You weren't the one who actually killed me the second night. Please don't tell me it was you. Issei saw Rem practically holding the metal spike ball which Issei died to on the second night. This is where actually Issei would have been kind of like confused, like saying like, why? What did I ever do to you? This is where Rem told Issei to shut up and to die right now. Issei blocked actually the strike, and of course right there he went ahead and charged towards Rem, delivering actually a punch, but Rem would have actually went ahead and used her wind magic to blowing Issei backwards here towards a tree. This is where the metal spike came towards Issei, but Issei dodged it at the last second, and of course Issei immediately starts to boost. Issei starts boosting multiple times and he prepared to launch a dragon shot, but Issei started to hesitate. He didn't want to actually hurt Ram, of course, and Issei would never hurt actually Ram, of course. He would never poison her. Issei explained this actually to Ram, but Ram didn't care. Now you're probably wondering right there, like, where's Beatrice in this? Like I said, you know, like, Issei didn't really stay in the library where Beatrice was. He only stayed in his room. So actually Beatrice didn't even bother just to come and protect Issei, and yeah. Issei and Ram are practically right there at each other's throats here. Practically, like, yeah, there is no help. Emilia won't actually come to help. Roswell won't come to help, at least not now here. And of course right there, like, it's only Issei just only fighting Ram. And Ram is practically furious here, saying that she will kill him and bring his head back to Lord Roswolf. This is where Issei says like, fine, you can kill me then. This is where actually like Ram would have been surprised, and even Dreg himself. And this is where Issei said like, if it feels actually you with actually happiness of you try to kill me, I would allow it here. This is where Ram would have been actually like shocked, putting him back by this, saying like, what are you talking about? Why would you allow me to kill you? For the past few minutes, you were here dodging all my attacks, trying to actually prevent yourself from dying here from me. And now you're accepting your debt? What's your game? Issei said like, there's no actually game here. If you want to kill me right now. Or if you don't want to do it, I can do it myself. Issei was standing on the edge here, and just having his actually hands actually down. He wasn't prepared to actually harm Ram, of course, or even, Ram, of any kind here. Practically, he knew that actually Ram, for some reason, he doesn't understand why she actually killed him actually like the second night. He doesn't understand this. But of course, the pain in her eyes here, just the look, of course, of this rage of losing a sister. Issei right there can't believe right there like someone like her even exists. And of course right there he feels actually for her. I mean like she just lost a sister here. I mean Issei would be furious right there if he actually found anyone actually that did actually harm actually like Reyes or anyone towards him. I mean like he did it before to Rainier, of course, her actually killing actually Arcia here and taking her second gear. Issei was exactly like this here. But this was actually different. Issei was gonna actually change actually his this day entirely here. He's gonna actually try to save actually Rem This is where Issei would have actually just had his hands wide open, and this is where he would have fell down to his death. And this is where actually Issei would have returned by death. Waking up, Issei found himself in the same bed, of course, and this is where Rem and Ram would have been there waiting for actually, Issei, and asking if he was actually alright here. Issei saw Rem alive, and he could only just smile, saying like, I'm actually fine now, knowing that there's two beautiful angels right next to me. This is where actually Rem and Ram would have actually just pushed away towards Issei and saying like, sister, this guy's totally a pervert here. Sister, I think you're right. This guy's totally a pervert. This is where Issei would have actually reset it actually the whole entire day of actually accordingly to his plan. And of course, Issei is actually trying to find out that definitely somebody from the outside poisoned them here. And this is where actually Issei actually asked around like Emilia anything to do with actually poison or anything like this, which Emilia actually told actually Issei that like if you want to actually learn actually like I don't know like something like poison, you should ask Lady Beatrice here, which actually he went ahead and did, which Beatrice actually said like yeah, she knows actually a few things about poison. Of course she can actually like unbreak curses as well, which actually like Issei says like, oh well, okay, I'll come to you if actually anything like that actually ever actually pops up. This is where Issei would have actually resetted the whole entire day here. Of course, going out to the village and the dog biting him, of course, and of course making dinner. By the end of the whole actually day, Issei would have went to actually Beatrice and said like, you know what, Beatrice, can you check me if I actually was poisoned or anything like that here? Remember, this was when actually Issei was supposed to study. He basically skipped his actually whole study lesson and went to Lady Beatrice here. It was hard for him to find her, but like he actually did. This is where Lady Beatrice would actually sigh and say like, fine, I would go ahead and check after you out. This is where she said like, wait, you actually do have a curse. And of course actually she went ahead and removed it, and it was actually where the dog bit him. Of course, actually, this is where Issei realized it, so it was the dog that actually bit me here. Makes sense. And of course, right there, like, Issei said, like, oh, well, now that the curse is actually lifted, that means actually I won't die. And this is where realization kicked in. And of course, the kids that were playing with the dogs, with actually the dog, they're also there in the village. And this is where actually Issei said, like, I have to actually leave right now. This is where he would have bolted down the stairs, and this is where Rem and Ram saw Issei. They were about to call in a night, saw him running down the stairs and trying to leave the mansion, and they asked what was the problem. And this is where Issei explains that like that the kids in the village, they were in danger, which actually confused actually like the two twins, of course, as actually like they asked, what do you mean by that? This is what Issei says like he can't explain right now, but of course he explained actually on the way here. He asked them if actually they would actually follow him or like come to the village with him. And this is where like Rem would assist on going with Issei, even though right there she actually hates Issei because actually the scent of the witch is actually on him. She would just actually follow him. This is where Issei and Rem would have actually walked or well ran into actually like the village, and of course the people there, they were looking for actually the kids. Of course, they couldn't even find them here. They disappeared. This is where actually they asked Rem and Issei to actually help actually find actually them. And Issei actually explained to Rem that pretty much actually there was actually a dog that actually bit him that pretty much gave him a curse, but Lady Beatrice actually dispersed it away from him. And of course actually the kids were playing with the dog, so potentially they were also actually bitten as well. This is where Rem and also right there Issei started booking it here and trying to find some leads here as they entered the forest. This is where they actually had an encounter with actually some actually like the demon dogs or the demon beast. This is where actually like Rem would have actually summoned her metal chain of balls of spikes, which really confused Issei. Like she also has one too. Like okay, who was the one who killed me actually that second night, and what was the reason for it here? This is actually where Issei didn't actually ask any questions after that. He just summoned his booster gear and he started attacking the demon dogs as the two of them started actually, like like working together, like practically taking down actually the demon dogs. Like Issei dodged one of them here as he started taking on actually three of them. Well, Ram started actually fighting about actually 8 of them, and she was practically a pro. And the way that she swung actually the metal ball here, like it was crazy. And Issei was afraid of her. Like, geez, I don't want to die by her again. Either her or Ram here. This is where actually they will find actually the kids, and this is where they will try to actually like bring them back to safety here. Of course, right there, like they were actually poisoned, but actually Issei thought that like maybe actually Beatrice can actually go ahead and break the curse on actually them. So actually this is where they will try to actually bring them back actually to the village. But of course they were attacked by actually more demon beasts, and this is where actually Issei and actually Rem started fighting more of them. This is where Ram started acting strange, and Issei saw this. She was acting like insane. She was going berserk. And this is actually where Issei saw that she was losing control. Like, practically, she was actually being overwhelmed by her own power. By her own, like, I don't know, like, horn itself here. And started actually attacking anything actually on sight here. And this is where Issei told Rem to actually knock it off here and like come to her senses. But she refused to actually listen to Issei as she started attacking more of the demon dogs. And of course right there, all of her surroundings. This way Issei would have actually saw that the demon dogs was about to actually get Rem. This way Issei ran, of course, pushing Rem out of the way as he would have actually gotten bitten as well. This is where Rem, I keep on getting themselves mixed up. Rem would have actually saw that Issei push her out of the way as, of course, he was bitten by actually the dogs. This is where actually Issei would have been bitten multiple times by actually the dogs here, and he started actually grabbing one of the dogs with the booster gear and punching him away. As actually he did this here, this is where actually Issei would have fallen unconscious here by the multiple poison here. Remember this is multiple bites that Issei received, so he fell immediately unconscious here. As actually Rem would have actually just picked Issei up and brought him actually towards actually like the village with the rest of the other kids as well. And folks, this is where I would end episode 2 on what if Issei was in Re:Zero. I know this actually episode was a little bit actually iffy here. Of course, I wasn't actually I'm not really up to it because actually, as you can tell, I'm kind of sick. So pretty much right there, like if you if you hear me stuttering here, I truly apologize here. But I actually really hope that you guys actually enjoyed this actually episode. If you guys actually want to actually like another part, put a like in the comments yourself here. Comment, like, and subscribe. And with that out of the way, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.